We're just gonna let people come in from the waiting room and we'll get started in a few moments. All right, as a reminder, just make sure you're muted as you enter. Right. Good afternoon. This is a hearing before the Boston Cannabis Board. Today is July 27th, 2022. Today's hearing is being recorded and will be posted to the City of Boston's website. Today's hearing is being conducted pursuant to certain temporary amendments to the open meeting law. That is what allows us to meet virtually. Before I review some procedural matters, I will introduce Chairwoman Kathleen Joyce.
Thank you, Jasmine. Good afternoon. My name is Kathleen Joyce. I'm Chair of the Boston Cannabis Board. Today, I'm joined by Commissioner John Smith, Commissioner Lisa Holmes, and Commissioner Darlene Lombos.
Thank you, Chairwoman Joyce. My name is Jasmine Nguyen, and I am the Boston Cannabis Board Manager. And we are also joined by Allison Quinn, who is the Project Manager for the BCB. While the public is encouraged to attend, there will be no additional public testimony accepted. I will read each item into the record. After, I will ask for comments from each board member. I will then ask if there is a motion, any questions on the motion, and then there'll be a vote. Each board member has the ability to grant with conditions, defer, reject without prejudice, which means the applicant can return anytime with an application at the same location, or reject with prejudice, which means the applicant cannot reapply at the same location for 1 year. The first two items are requests for changes by already approved licensees. We will begin with item 1, which is the applicant is Patriot Care Corp. DBA Cannabis. The license premise is 21 Milk Street, downtown. The license type is a co-located medical and recreational retail cannabis dispensary license. The request is to remove 2 recreational license conditions. The first is licensee will not sell pre-rolled cannabis products. And the second condition is licensee will require a minimum purchase of $35. The applicant is also requesting to amend the operating hours from Monday through Sunday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. to Monday through Sunday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. We will now move to questions and comments from the board members. Start with Chairwoman Joyce.
Thank you, Jasmine. I'm going to jump to amending the operating hours. I was very interested to see that the bid supported the change in the operating hours. I have no issues with amending that from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. So if we could take these 3 things separately, that might make the most sense.
Okay. We'll just go around with the comments and then we'll do.
Okay.
Commissioner Lombos, do you have any comments?
On the hours, I'd be fine with taking that separately and agree that that would be fine with me.
Commissioner Smith?
I agree. Same on the hours.
Commissioner Holmes?
Ditto, good with the hours.
Okay. Chairwoman Joyce, is there a motion?
Make a motion to amend the hours to 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Is there a second? Commissioner Smith, all in favor? And none opposed. So to amend the hours from the amendment of hours passes. The removal of the 2 conditions, Chairwoman Joyce.
Thank you. I really struggle with this. I think there were some persuasive arguments, but I go back to the fact that their license was originally for medical, then they came back and asked for recreational, and I feel as if they entered willingly and knowingly into those conditions with the bid. I'm not persuaded that these, I know some of the things are under $35, but the market hasn't, changed grossly since they received their license. The market always has had things like that available for $35 and under. The bid is made up of businesses and made up of residents, and I feel like those conditions should remain in place.
Commissioner Lombos?
Yeah, I agree that given that this particular applicant had this in their original agreements, I do think that that's important to honor. I don't, that's where I'm at right now. I feel like that's important to make sure the arguments that in the supplemental information, one of them was that a merchant, a vendor of color would not be able to do business with them. I just don't, I think there are other ways that you can do business with businesses of color if you really want to. That's one of the things that I wanted to really point out. So I think that's, I really want to figure out how to support the businesses that we, especially the businesses of color that we want to make sure are successful. And I don't think these two preconditions are necessarily the problem.
Commissioner Smith?
Thanks. I want to agree with Commissioner Joyce and Commissioner Lumbles on that.
Commissioner Holmes?
Well, I agree and I disagree. I don't agree with them changing the pre-rolls, but I kind of didn't have a problem with the change of the $35 amount, because I know that there are newer products that have come on the market, like seltzers that are like $8, and gummies and stuff for sleep aids and stuff. So the $35 I could go with, but I wasn't in favor of changing the pre-rolls. So I guess I'm the oddball.
I appreciate your voice, I do. And why don't we work off of the pre-roll one first? I make a motion not to remove that condition and to keep it in place.
Is there a second?
I second it.
Second.
All in favor? And none opposed. So the condition of the pre-rolls will remain on the license. In regards to the 35 minimum.
Right.
My other comment is out of deference to Commissioner Holmes. I still don't change my position and voting to keep the condition in place, but I could reconsider this should I see some movement in communications and conversations with the bid as to exactly which items could be sold under the $35. I just don't want to blanketly remove that condition. I don't think it's been fleshed out enough. So as it appears today, to remove the minimum purchase of $35, I still vote to reject removing that condition.
Is there a second? All in favor? All right.
Oh, goodness. Can I make a comment real quick?
Sure.
Because I do agree with, obviously we all appreciate each other's perspectives on this board, and we kind of like, I don't want to go against it, because really I think Commissioner Holmes makes a very good point, and I do support what you were saying, Chairwoman Joyce, about if we were to get this an updated request, then I think with some of the things that you pointed out, I think I would definitely be much more in favor.
And not just an updated request, I really want to know that they've had additional conversations with the bid. I get the sense that they agreed to these bid conditions to hurry up and open, which doesn't feel right to me because of this prime location and where they were in the queue. So I want to slow this process down to make sure people don't feel disenfranchised by the process. They make persuasive arguments, but I think we're doing the process a disservice if we don't get more information about their communications with this group.
Yeah, I tend to agree with Commissioner Joyce on that.
So can we make it a condition that they have to go back and speak to the bid, or?
I would like to make a condition that they can't come back to us to request this change until they go and speak with the bid.
I can live with that.
I could do that.
Okay.
All right, I can agree with that.
So Chairwoman Joyce, the motion is, can you repeat that again? What the motion is?
I reject removing the condition of $35 and request that they go back and have more conversations and meetings with the bid to flesh out this minimum requirement before they come back and ask us to remove it again.
Any questions on the motion?
No.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? And Darlene? And none opposed.
And I think it's important, we're providing them with a path forward. We're not saying no, we're just saying, you know,
We need more information.
yep.
All right, perfect. Motion carries. All right. The next item we have is the applicant is Verdant Reparative Inc. The license premise is 150 State Street downtown. The license type is a recreational cannabis dispensary and product manufacturing license. Request is to use DBA Apex Noor and to provide an update to the BCB regarding the proposed operations. Chairwoman Joyce.
I have no issues.
Commissioner Ramos. Commissioner Smith,
No issues. Thanks, Jeff.
Commissioner Holmes.
No issues with this.
All right, Chairwoman Joyce, is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve this request.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? And none opposed. So this passes and the board acknowledges the updates the applicant provided. All right. Now we will move to applications for new licenses that follow the 1-to-1 equity to non-equity ratio. The applicant is Stone's Throw LLC. The proposed license premise is 727 Atlantic Avenue downtown. The license type is a recreational cannabis dispensary and courier license. The proposed hours of operations are 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., 7 days a week. This is an equity applicant. Chairwoman Joyce.
Thanks, Jasmine. As you said, this is an equity applicant and another downtown location. It's something that I think we are encouraged to see these equity applicants being able to try to open up in these locations. I do want to address the fact that there was a lot of opposition. There was opposition from Council President Flynn, but there was support as well. The opposition, in my opinion, fell into a couple of buckets that to me didn't go to the life safety issues or to the operators, the owners as operators. I think they had a very strong application and plan otherwise. They sent supplemental materials to us afterwards. And I think, you know, by all accounts, it was a strong application.
Commissioner Lopez.
I agree. It was a very strong application. I appreciated the supplemental information. There, again, the score sheet, I very much use the score sheet because there was a lot of opposition, but the other scores on the other pieces of that score sheet were high for me. Really high goals, very good DEI and employment goals, and all of those things have to be taken in consideration. And
I think she froze.
I think she froze.
All right, we'll come back to Commissioner Lombos. Commissioner Smith.
Thanks, Jasmine.
Oh, I think she's back.
She's on mute.
Sorry.
Yeah, you
I'm
froze
sorry,
a little bit.
I'm so sorry. Anyway, yes, like the application, strong application, and my scores were high. Owners have a great track record. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Smith.
Thanks, Jasmine. And I think, you know, we as the commissioners have to look at these things holistically. I appreciate both sides, the opposition, but also the supporting information, but also the supplementary information, and definitely appreciated Stone's Throw team basically looking at the opposition letters and answering in detail to us that they sent. I thought that was really strong, and the detail they provided was really helpful. So I'm in support of this application.
Commissioner Holmes.
Ditto. I don't have to reiterate anything everybody else said. I agree with them.
Chairwoman Joyce, is there a motion?
I make a motion to grant this application.
Is there a second? Second, all in favor?
Second.
Second,
Second, all in favor, everybody, and none opposed. So this application is granted.
they didn't have a buffer zone, right?
No,
Okay,
we will now move to old and new. The following applicant was deferred from the BCB June 22nd voting meeting. The applicant is Cannabis Healing LLC. The proposed license premises for Neptune Road, East Boston. The license type is a retail recreational cannabis dispensary license. The proposed hours are 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. 7 days a week, and this is a non-equity applicant. Chairwoman Joyce.
Thank you, Jasmine. This is an application that I continue to struggle with. We have a mother and son Black-owned small business seeking to open up in East Boston. They're exactly the type of business owners we want to see, and we want to help enter this cannabis world. Quite frankly, it wasn't the strongest application. It really wasn't the strongest presentation. And unfortunately, even though they are a Black-owned small business hoping to open up in East Boston, they don't qualify for the city's equity resources. That being said, I can't find a reason to just blanketly oppose it. I am opposed to the takeout window. And I really do think, should this move forward in our process, I would strongly suggest the applicants to reach out to our technical assistance team. I'm actually going to ask Jasmine to share the resources with them. They wouldn't qualify for free resources, but I think their application would benefit and would be stronger if they reached out and took advantage of some of those resources.
Commissioner Ramos.
Not much to say, but that I agree and that I'm really rooting for these applicants. I think you're exactly right. We want to see them in the industry, and my scores weren't as high, but they were good enough. And so I'm rooting for this applicant.
Commissioner Smith.
Jasmine, yeah, very much the same as my other two commissioners.
Commissioner Holmes.
the same, I'm totally against the takeout window, but I do appreciate the fact that they are a mother and son team, that they're really trying to get ahead. And I agree they could really benefit from some technical assistance to kind of strengthen up their application. I think with just a little bit more help, they'd really be an outstanding application put forward.
Chairwoman Joyce, is there a motion?
Yes, and just to, before I get to the motion, just to echo that, I think getting from nice applicants and good application to outstanding applications, what this application needs to succeed at the ZBA level. So I know, speaking for myself, I would, should this be granted, I really do urge you to reach out. My vote is to grant this applicant a license at this location
Is it
without the takeout window.
without the takeout? So you want to grant it with the condition that the takeout window is?
I would like to see on our file, for our files, a submission without the takeout window included.
Okay. Any questions on the motion?
I have a question. So, and it's probably to Kathleen. So do we want them to resubmit all together without the takeout window? Should they come back to us with a new?
No, I just want to file so that
Okay.
whenever they submit to the ZBA, should we vote to support this, we have the same copy of that in our file. We
Gotcha.
need another presentation, but I don't support the takeout window.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right. So is there a second?
I can second.
Okay. All in favor? So none opposed. So this applicant is granted license at this location without the takeout window. And we need not a new application, but an updated board member without the takeout window.
Yeah, and Jasmine, I would ask that you share with them the list of resources
Yes,
that we provide for technical assistance.
will do. All right. So those are all the matters before the board today. Our next transactional hearing will take place on August 10th, 2022 at 1 p.m. Hope everyone enjoys the rest of their day and see you next month.